So I understand this is going to be the biggest one ever. It will never happen again. There's over 1,000 people. There's some people are coming from New Zealand, Australia, England, naturally some from Canada, and a bunch from all over.
I take it tomorrow when the sun is up and crowds are around here because this is the preparation.
This is the preparation.
Now this is the test kitchen.
Sunday we left at 4 o'clock in the morning. We drove about
724 miles.
No.
First day.
Yeah.
724 miles.
And then the second day we got 600 and some.
680.
A total of
exactly. About 2007.
Is that a newly restored car?
Yes,
And whose car is it?
mine.
It's yours.
Yes.
What? When did you restore it?
The last 4 years, finished it in May.
And what's your name?
Mark Shaw. Oh, I put about 400 or 500 miles on it since I finished it. Took it out to Auburn, Indiana to the TR8 show. Took it to the Day of Triumph, the New England Triumphs in Boston. And now here.
Okay.
I keep offering her a new car. She said, no, I like this. No, I like this.
Oh yeah. We were headed south. Like the airport. There was somebody else
Joe Richards is here, by the way. Come on, Joe, don't hide. This is the man who wasn't in the room when I started talking. Come on, Joe, come out here. Joe Richards is the owner of TS1. If ever there's a man who deserves a huge round of applause for rescuing a piece of history. Joe rescued this piece of history. I knew, just tell me how many years you've had it, Joe.
probably 25 years.
25 years, but I knew about this a long time ago. When I first came to see Joe, again, it was the year I came here, I think in 1998, I went to see Joe in Ohio. The car, shall we say, was still a mess. He was trying hard, he didn't have much time. The car was still a mess, and Joe said, I'm going to get it right, I'm going to get it right. It's going to be exactly right, and it's down to this man, with help from certain of our friends on my side of the Atlantic, who've made sure that this is exactly what it would have been like in 1953. That's breaking off my story, but I wanted to be sure they knew who you were, because you've done a great job with this car. The development of the TR over the years, mainly what happened at White Hat, was down to you. And again, Mike Cook will know how development is led by what the customers are saying to the dealers, what the customers are saying to the importers chain. The first things to be said about this car were that it wasn't quick enough, that it wasn't, if you like, civilized enough, and it also began to date in its look. So in the first 2 or 3 years, Triumph kept on niggling away and adding a little bit more power and adding a little bit more power, and even I got confused as to when the 90 horsepower became 100 and things like it. The importance to advance.
But the TR1, there are photographs of the TR1 at a show with a registration number on it, which actually belongs, we know, because it belongs to another work car, it belongs to one of their small sedans. They presumably put the plate on it at a time when it didn't have its own registration number and would look strange without a registration plate on the front.
I'm Chuck McGuire,
So, and you're from where, Chuck?
Des Moines, Iowa.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Cedar Rapids area.
Well, it's just a little bit east of us.
Yes, it is. Great state. You drive it over?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Tell us about it.
This is a project car, and there wasn't any metal in it, and the guy had cleaned the frame and painted it and had the engine set in it, and the car was all rusted in pieces yet. And he got a gal in Colorado, and he left, and he had to sell it, and so I bought it all. And it took me 4 years to reassemble it and put in all new metal from the bottom up, basically, and then put it all together. Did all the upholstery myself, all the paintwork myself, and all the parts came from the Roadster factory.
All right. Did you rebuild the motor?
No, the motor sounded pretty good. I started it in the frame, and it didn't knock and it didn't smoke, and I said, use it.
Ah, good. It's a beautiful car.
Lucky that way.
Okay. Well, thank you. Enjoy the weekend. Yeah, your name?
My name is Greg Verant. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, and this is your TR6?
Yes, it's my TR6. I've owned it for 20 years now. It's a 1973. So we just drive to different Triumph events, trying to go. We've been to Portland, Oregon before, and now we're here at this one. Last year, or no, 2 years ago, we were at Breckenridge, Colorado.
Okay.
So we had to play with the high elevation, tuning the carburetors all the time and that, so.
And you drive to the events?
Oh, yes. Cars. I only
Good.
drive my cars.
And now your license plate are interesting.
Yes.
It says tricarb or?
Correct. I have 3 Strombergs on here. I'll show you if you want to see it
sure.
right
Why
now.
don't you open it up and we'll take a look at the motor.
This is a 2.5 liter straight 6 bored 30 over. I have the Richard Good manifold setup on it with the 3 Strombergs. It runs awesome. It's a great car on the road now.
You're running a stock exhaust?
Yeah, stock stainless steel exhaust.
Okay.
The cam is just a mild cam. Kicks in about 3,000 RPMs. Most of the parts on this car are original parts. They are not reproduction at all. So the only thing, there's a couple things in here that aren't quite 73, but for our driving comfort across the country, we have things in here for better comfort. So.
Now, have you redone the body at all? Or?
No, the body's been color coded 18 years ago. It was been painted, so that's all it's been done. And this year we needed more luggage room, so we got another deck lid and knew we could not match the paint, so we came up with the flag.
With the Union Jack?
Yes.
Okay.
And,
well, it's a beautiful car.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful car, and well done. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Well, if this is Friday, it must be Hill Climb, and I'm with Charles Runyon and Vern Brennan. Vern's going to be driving the Triumph Works car, and Charles is the owner and proprietor of TRF. So, gentlemen, what do you think of the show?
Aside from the rain, it's been going pretty well so far. It's been a tough weekend rain-wise, but we're looking forward to getting some runs in on the hill climb and having a good time today.
Are you anxious to go up first off with Vern?
I'm really excited to ride in the works car, and I know that Vern's an exciting driver. So.
Well, hopefully not too exciting. Vern, tell us a little bit about the car and how you came about getting a car in yours.
It's a TR7 V8. It was built in the factory in 1976, and they raced it as a TR7 for a couple of rallies, and then put a V8 in it, and it ran about 6 or 8 more rallies. So it actually lasted almost a year, which is pretty good. Ironically, most of the 10 or 12 factory TR7s and TR7 V8s survived, and most of them around, and a lot of them are still vintage raced, rallied in Europe. And so this one was owned by a guy named Graham Gay, and he immigrated to Australia, and then he sold it on to Germany, and I bought it out of Germany about a year ago.
And do you road race or just hill climb with it, or?
I've actually only run it once before on a test day on a road course, because it's really not eligible for most of the rallies, at least in the part of the country I live in, so it's too new.
Well, we'll let you get strapped in and get some heat in the motor, and enjoy, gentlemen. Thank you.
In there with apparently there was a dead battery. There's too much compression, I couldn't pop it going backwards.
From Detroit Triumph Sports Car Club, and what we're doing here is a hill climb. We've got cars coming up one at a time up a 0.6 of a mile course with two or three chicanes on the course that really slow the cars down. Other than that, I can't say a whole lot. Okay, here comes Rich now, the guy who set the thing up.
You don't know, I'm sorry, I'm Rich Rock. This is what's going to happen. Real soon we're going to get in our cars, and we're going to take the return loop, and we're going to go back down to the start line area. We're going to be coming in on Indian Springs Road. This is the road that the start line area is. Over here on Indian Springs Road is a county maintenance facility. There's a couple big gravel pile areas. We're going to pull in there, and we're going to start running, and we're going to hope it doesn't rain. Hope we all get dry runs.
that's running the hill climb today. Can we get your name, please?
Bethany Heinzelman.
And you're driving a
TR8 57.
Is it your car?
Yes, it is.
Okay, do you maintain it yourself?
My husband helps.
What a guy. What a guy. Hear that, guys? Okay, have you ever done anything like this before?
No.
So you've already done one run.
Yes.
What'd you think?
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yep.
You know what your time was?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. That's the attitude. Okay, well, very good. You have fun.
Thank you.
Standing next to a beautifully prepared TR2. Your name, sir?
Pat Davis.
And tell us about the car.
Well, when I first got it, I found the back end, this part from here back, 15 miles from where I found the front end, and it had a tree growing up through the middle about 3 inches.
Okay.
So I got that, and it took 5 years to do it and a lot of agony. I got a lot of bad memories putting this thing together. Nothing fit, and it comes, these things were built in 3 or 4 different factories, and if you get fenders from one, of course it doesn't fit the other, and it was just an absolute nightmare putting this thing together. But it has won a lot of shows. It won down last week down at Pittsburgh at the Vintage Grand Prix, and well, not this, that was last year. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. A lot of bad memories.
Okay. I mean, did you do a lot of the work yourself?
I did all of it but the paint, and that's probably the worst part of the car.
And you did your own upholstery?
Yes.
That came out beautiful. Yeah. Have you ever hill climbed before?
No, never.
Okay,
never.
so this is a new experience for you.
Oh yeah. I get her out in the autocross and stuff, but I've never run one of these. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, it's a wide open course until you get to the top.
Okay.
So I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, we'll have a good time.
Thank you. Okay, now we're standing next to this Vitesse, and could you give us your name, sir?
Cecil Wise.
And you're from?
Coffeyville, Kansas.
Okay, and tell us about the car.
It's a 62 Vitesse. We drove it here from Kansas. It's basically a GT6 engine, or drivetrain in it.
Okay. Totally stock?
Maybe not quite totally stock, but close.
Okay. But it's not prepped or anything.
No, not prepped for. It's purely a street car.
Have you ever done any form of motorsports with it?
I've done a little bit of autocross at VTR events, and that's it.
And did you buy the car in this condition, or?
Body work was this way. I had to do all the mechanical work myself.
Okay, so you've done a full mechanical restoration?
Yes.
But yourself, or?
Yes, I've rebuilt engine, transmission. I had a differential put in, but.
All right. It's a beautiful car.
Thank you very much.
I hope you have fun today.
Thank you. I think we will.
Okay. I'm with J.K. Jackson, who's driving this wonderfully prepared car that belongs to his wife. So, J.K., tell us about yourself and the car.
Oh, I'm just an old man. This car is a really neat one. It's a 72 TR6. It's got Webers, headers. The suspension is trick. And Hoosier tires.
Okay. You walked the course earlier. I saw you out there.
Yes.
It's a fairly wide open course, or?
It's wide open except for those chicanes.
The hay bales?
The hay bales are pretty tight. Probably first gear.
So, is the wife going to be driving it later?
Yes, she is.
Okay, who's going to win?
Oh, she probably will.
Okay. Well, have a good day, sir.
Thank you very much.
This is just a fun gymkhana, kind of like autocross, but a few more gimmicks. Essentially, they're just making a circle around here. First stop, to get out and ride a bicycle around a cone. The second phase is just to make a circle around the pylons. Stop at another stage, touch their toes, go through a wedge to commemorate the wedges that we're featuring at TRF this year. Then we have a slalom. Come down here at the next stage. Hula hoop. We have a kind of a backing arrangement here, and stop on the line to get out of the car and touch basically a Lucas board that I rigged up. One's a siren, the rest of them are buzzers. They get a bonus if you get the siren, and we combine the totals and any penalties, and low time wins.
Yeah. 73.
what we want, isn't it, Randy?
Go ahead, take it. This thing, I'll take it.
You want another one? Let me tell what, maybe you'll get it.
No, just leave it right there.
Oh, you knew where it was, huh?
Well.
Okay, I'm here with Blake Disher of the Detroit Triumph Club, and he has this absolutely beautiful Triumph back here. Do you want to tell us about it, Blake?
Well, it's a 1968 Triumph 2000 Mark I, and I picked it up from a fella in Canada. My wife and I fell in love with the car. Actually, we were in England, and we saw the Dolomites, and we wanted to get a Dolomite, and you just can't find them. They're like hen's teeth in the U.S. Yeah. So when we got back, we thought we'd just settle, not get a Dolomite, and then we went to a show in Toronto, and this car was for sale.
What year was that?
That was just last October. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you only had it a year.
Less than a year, yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
what condition was it in when you got it?
Pretty much where it is now. The gentleman had gotten about halfway through the interior restoration, and so I finished it up with some carpets and some attention to detail there, and then we're gonna have it resprayed over the winter. Probably the same color. Yeah.
Painted the same color. Okay.
Yep.
And what are some of the specs on this car?
It's pretty much has the same running gear as the GT6. So it's a 6-cylinder. It has overdrive, 4-speed overdrive, and pretty much in sound shape. Yeah.
Okay. And what else do you own?
I own a Triumph TR6 1976. We have a 1980 TR7 Spider and a 71 Stag.
Okay. And you are the editor of that great newsletter.
I'm the editor of the Detroit Triumph Sports Car Club Review. It's called the Triumph Review. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
camera on it. You're going to Disney World.
Gary Kinney, the Spitfire, is finishing with a 46.798. 46.798. And he is off. 3148, Gary Kinney is saved. Joe Davis of the TR8 was off course with a 47.28, but he's off course. But Shockey currently on course. That's 351 Windsor Powers TR6. That wasn't offside, wasn't it? You said that was? 315D is safe. 313 of the finish with a 33.758. Brought it down again. The ball left. Okay, is this 155 RP just coming to the finish? Okay, 43.778 for 155 RP. 156D, Gary Hunter on course. There's the story of this till we sort that 406 out. No, he should be running in the next heat. Yeah, he's not registered until the next heat.
Smile.
Covers all those things.
It looks great.
That was almost like work. I shower changed working over there.
Hi, I'm Pat and Barbara Cashman. This is a 1960 Armstrong Siddeley Star Sapphire. It's the last year they made these cars. Made 902. There are around 200 worldwide that are still running. It has a 4-liter inline Hemi head engine, twin carburetors, 3-speed automatic, disc brakes, well-built car, all hand-constructed, aluminum bodywork. Very nice automobile.
How long have you owned it?
We've had it about 10 years.
And what year is it?
It's 1960. Last year they made automobiles. The company continues to make aircraft engines and ships turbine engines and other components. Hawker Siddeley, that makes the Harrier jump jet, is the offshoot of this company.
It's not really an old car.
It's 43 years old. It's an old car.
Okay. I mean, it looks like a 30s car.
The same body style was kept pretty much for 20 years. My wife, Barbara?
You're right. This is 1960s vintage clothing that I purchased in New Orleans at an estate sale. Enjoy your
Thank you.
Here comes the judge.
That's right, we're going to drink. Oh, first.
Are you done?
What are you doing here?
We are in our official capacity with my referee shirt to judge the Triumph Stag contingent.
Explain what it is that you are doing here.
I haven't the faintest idea.
Okay, Mike, you introduce yourself first.
Who's the chief judge?
That's you.
Darrell Floyd drafted me into being chief judge of Triumph Stags for VTR. Why he does that, I have no idea, because I'm only the stag consultant for VTR. I think Brennan had something to do with it as well. What do you think, Glenn?
I think so.
Yeah.
And this
Kent,
guy wrote...
good to see you. We're delighted to be here participating in the show, seriously. And let's do this for many, many years to come. Thank you.
Welding where?
No, he says he like modified something on the back and put the top up.
You gotta work late. Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, 'cause there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. If you wanna use a category time to vote. Sometimes I wonder what am I gonna do, 'cause there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Summertime blues. We've got the rainy time blues right now, but you guys keep walking around and enjoy yourselves.
It's for downtown Indiana.
Well, what are you selling?
50/50 raffle tickets. What is this for? 50 is half of whatever we collect. Oh, is that right?
Get some shots of rain type
I'm Tom Levitt.
Tom Levitt, okay.
From just outside of Boston.
What have you got here?
1949 TR2000. It was the last vestige that Triumph tried to relive sort of the good years before the war. So the styling of the car is very much pre-war, and they thought that there would be a market for some of that sentimentality. And they only made about 1,900 of them because there was no market for it. And if you look at the car, you can see, especially with the fenders and the headlights, the beginnings of the TR2 Roadster. But it's a beautiful car, lots of chrome and lots of fun.
Much larger than obviously a TR.
Much larger and not quite as fast.
How long have you? Not quite as fast.
No.
What type of engine does it have?
It has a little over 2,000 cc's, so it's a small four-cylinder. And the car sort of lumbers along, which is actually a good thing because that means people who can see it more. It doesn't go by as fast.
Okay. How long have you owned it?
I've owned it for about 3 years.
And how many of these do you know of are in the United States?
As best we can tell, and the internet has really helped with this, that here in the States of the 2000 model, there's about 180 that we know of.
Do you have your own club?
So there's a fellow here who coordinates and acts as our liaison overseas. So we sort of have our own club here.
Okay.
But most of the information we get is from the folks overseas. It's great fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Could you take care of this?
I'm Jack Bellamack from the Chicago Triumph Group. I just wanted to thank the group for the Best of Show Award. Even though it may look like the show is still going on, I'm confident that I have won, if nothing else because I went out and bought one. I've given up trying to earn awards with my car, so I'm now buying them to take home to show the family. So it's a great thing. I love Triumph events.
Bobby, say hi.
You walk by.
Come on. Put your tongue in.
My name's Steve McCutcheon, and I'm from Grimsby, Ontario, Canada, which is about an hour north of Buffalo and about an hour west of Toronto. And I have a 1960 Triumph Italia, and there are 4 here this weekend. We know of 21 in North America. There were 328 or 29, depending on the source, that were built in 1960 in Italy. The car was designed by Michelotti, who did the design for the TR4 and also designed this coupe. And the Italian distributor, Dr. Ruffino, had seen the drawings for the car and decided that it was a beautiful car and it had to be built. And so as a result of that, he struck a deal with Triumph to export him chassis and suspension and drivetrains, and he bought 300 chassis for TR3s. And then this metal body was hand-built, each car was hand-built on top of the TR3 chassis. So the car is completely Italian on the outside and British on the inside. And it has all of the TR3 running gear. My car in particular has overdrive, but it has wire wheels, it has the TR3 engine, it has all the TR3 suspension. But we know of, as I said, 21 in North America. Only of approximately 7 or 8 are currently finished and drivable. But they're very unique, and it's a real pleasure this weekend to have 4 of us all together at the same time and in the same place. And probably one of the few shows that there have been 4 complete cars, and people I think have really appreciated it this weekend.
Results for the events, we're going to announce them here in a few weeks or so. They'll probably be put up on the website. A couple of years ago we had the drive-in and we posted, for example, the autocross and some of the other stuff on a printout. We weren't able to do that this year because we had a lot going on, so our apologies. About 4 or 5 months ago, they had a poster, an original poster from Watkins Glen. You may have seen them up at TRF. I bought it for, I don't know how many bucks, and then our engineering department, I bought them like 3 dozen donuts, and they Xeroxed a bunch of copies for me. So these are unauthorized replications, but for all of the kids that were campers, I want you guys to come up and we're going to give you one. Okay, now, I've got a whole bunch left for the adults, but you guys are going to have to earn them. All right? 62. Okay, 62. The person with the best joke, or anybody that wants to come up and tell a really good, clean joke, I'll give you a poster. All right? And I'll start out with one. All right? I'll start out with one. About a week ago, there was a pretty serious accident with a VTR member and a member from the Mustang Club up in Michigan. And nobody was killed, but both cars were totaled. And they both kind of climbed out of their wreckage. And the VTR member said, boy, this must be a sign from God, because, I mean, we're both alive. Our cars are basically toast. They're smoking in oil. And the VTR member kind of made an effort to be friends with the member of the Mustang Club, and he had nothing to do with it. He says, you guys are foreign cars. You're not real sports cars. So the VTR member went to the back of his car and found this really nice bottle of bourbon. And he says, look at this. Everything's all over the road, but this bottle of bourbon is not damaged. This must also be a sign from God, and we must toast our good fortune and our good friendship. So the Mustang guy is saying, okay, all right. So the VTR person breaks the seal on the bourbon and gives it to the Mustang guy. He takes a sip. He says, boy, this is pretty good Kentucky bourbon, you know. And the VTR guy says, well, take another sip, you know, go ahead. So this Mustang guy ends up drinking about a quarter of the bottle of the bourbon, and he's feeling really good about it. So he gives the bottle of bourbon to the VTR guy. He says, now it's your turn. The VTR guy says, nah, I'm going to wait for the police. Yeah.
This is also a drinking joke, and I got it off the Triumph Register of England, TR Register website. And there was a party, and this elderly gentleman had a TR7. And he was leaving the party. It was around 11 o'clock at night. And he had really been drinking quite a bit. But he only lived a mile away. George, we've got to drive you home. We've got to drive you home. No, it's only a mile home. Well, half a mile away, he's caught for weaving. And they drive on the left side of the road in England. And he's weaving across the line, almost hitting the ditch. And all of a sudden, he sees these blue flashing lights in his mirror. In England, they just have blue flashing lights. They don't have red. So he gets stopped. And just when he gets stopped, they accuse him of weaving on the road. They get a message on the intercom, or whatever you call it, that the cops have in the dashboard, that there's a robbery, and it's only about a block away. So they go, now you wait right here, and we're going to go check out this robbery. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Well, about half an hour later, the cops still aren't back because they went on foot. So he decides to drive home. He drives home, he puts the car in the garage, and he walks in the house, and he's still feeling pretty good. He says to his wife, he says, look, I've been in bed all day. If anybody comes to the door, I've been in bed all day. I'm real sick, and I can't see anybody, and that's what you got to tell them. Well, another half an hour goes by. And the doorbell rings, and the two constables are there. And they're saying, we want to speak to your husband. Oh, he's been sick in bed all day, and he's never been at the house. And well, we need the key to his garage. Why? We want to see his car. So she gives him the key, and the three of them, the wife and the two cops, go out to the garage. They open the garage doors, and the lights are still flashing on the police car.
I'm Doug Mitchell. I'm with the Detroit Triumph Sports Car Club. I brought a stag this weekend. I know we've got a number of Canadians out here, and some of them may have heard it, some of the people from the north may have heard it one time or another. Way back years and years and years ago, they're trying to come up with a name for Canada. And they're trying to figure this out. So three guys are sitting around a campfire one night thinking, what are we going to name this country? What are we going to name this country? And one of them finally comes up with an idea and says, how about if we drop all of the letters in the alphabet into a bag, and we'll all each one pick out a letter, and we'll come up with a name. I said, okay, fine. So the first one reaches in and says, C, eh? Second one, N, eh? Third one, D, eh? But, when I told that joke before, Canadians came back to me and they said, well, you know how the U.S. came up with their name? Us, eh?
You all realize that the Triumph is the only and first car to be mentioned in the Bible. See, Moses came down from the mount in Triumph.
Three Canadians were in a boat fishing on a lake, and one of them pulled up a bottle with a stopper in it, pulled the stopper out, and the genie appeared. Well, the genie says, you fellas only got one wish, better make it a good one. So the fellow in the front of the boat says, I wish that this lake was turned into beer. And poop, it was. And the other Canadian looked over and he said, I guess we'll have to use the boat for the bathroom now.
I'm from Pennsylvania, German family, and there was this couple in Springtown, the village I live in Upper Bucks County, Mabel and Calvin, that went to the Bloomsburg Fair every year. Calvin used to say, I'd really like to go up in the airplane. And Mabel would say every year, well, it's $50, and $50 is $50. Well, this went on for years, and finally old Calvin's 85, and he said, Mabel, I'm 85 this year. If I don't get up in the airplane this year, I might not ever get up in the airplane. Mabel says, well, it's $50, and $50 is $50. Well, the pilot overheard them and said, hey, listen, folks, I'll take you up. If you don't say one word, it's for free. But one word, and it's $50. They said, okay, let's go. And they put on their leather helmets, and up they went. Well, the pilot did some tail stands, some G-force dives, and some stunts, and not a word. So he went up higher and did some more radical stuff and did all kinds of stunts and put the plane upside down and stood it on its tail and all this stuff. And finally he started to run low on gas, so he lands and he turns around to Calvin and says, I can't believe it, Calvin. You didn't say a word. How'd you do it? Well, I almost said something when Mabel fell out, but you know, it's $50.
It's about old Charlie Perkins, lived on the Maine-New Hampshire border, and of course Mainers are very proud of being Mainers, as can be testified. Well, one day the boys from Augusta decided they were going to resurvey the border between Maine and New Hampshire. They came up to Charlie's farm, knocked on the door, comes out in the porch, says, they say, Charlie, we'd like to survey on your property. You got any problem with that? No. So they go and do their measuring, come back at the end of the day, knock on the door, Charlie comes out. They say, Charlie, looks as though we have some bad news for you. He says, I have. They say, looks as though your farm is in New Hampshire. Well, Charlie's family's been there for generations, and he scratches his head thinking about this. Finally, he allows, guess it's just as good. Don't think I could have stood another one of those Maine winters.
There's some gentlemen playing golf, and they're at a tee, and they're waiting for the group in front of them to finish out putting, and they're waiting, and they're waiting, and they're waiting, and this group seems to be taking forever to putt out. And they find the groundskeeper coming over with a golf cart, and they said, what's wrong with those people over there? They're taking forever to play this hole. The groundskeeper said, oh my God, those are 4 firemen. They saved our firehouse, our golf club, from burning down, but unfortunately they got blinded by the fire. The first gentleman, who was a priest, said, "Oh my God, I will pray for them." And the second one, who was a surgeon, said, "I'll refer them to a friend of mine who's an eye surgeon. Maybe something can be done." And the third gentleman, who was an engineer, said, "Can't they play at night?"
How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? One, but the light bulb has to really want to change. Anyways, there's a great story about a husband and wife. They're about 7 months pregnant. And she, as those of you that have children know, has a craving for escargot or snails. And it's about noon on a Saturday, and she basically tells her husband to go down to the local deli and get me some fresh snails, fresh escargot. So reluctantly, he puts his coat on and he trudges about a mile or so down the road. The guy says, "Yeah, they just came in. I don't have anything to give them to you, so I'll give you a couple of paper bags and a towel, and we'll wrap them up, and you can stick them under your arm and be on your way," which he does. So on the way back, he walks by a local pub, and the guy says, "Hey, come on in for a beer. The game's on. You know, just a quick one. You know." And he says, "I can sneak one in. You know, what the heck? What's a couple minutes?" So this is about 1 o'clock. Well, a few beers, a little bit more of the game, a few more beers. It's 11 o'clock at night, and this guy's really toasted, and he knows he's in trouble. So he has to say goodbye, and he grabs his bag of snails, and he walks home, and he's on the front yard, walking up to the steps, and the bag, now all soaked, lets loose. And there's snails all over the front yard. Well, the porch light comes on, and the wife, very irritated, looks at him, sees the snails on the ground, sees him kind of stumbling, and says, "Okay, what have you got to do to explain for yourself? I mean, it's been almost 12 hours. What happened?" So the husband kind of scratches his head, and he looks at the ground, and he says, "Come on, guys, it's a little farther, and we'll be there."
This one's not so much a joke as a true story. As you can tell, I live down south, and some of the people have even more of an